Hi, my name is Megan Gallagher. I'm 24 years old and I'm a TEDx speaker, author, a motivational speaker for teenagers, and a blogger. I'm originally from Lafayette, California, and I've been in Santa Monica, California for almost 5 years. My story began when I was as young as 3 years old, and I was too young to remember, but my mom and my dad would always tell me, you were always so anxious and crying and worrying all the time, and we never knew why, but if we were about to go to a family dinner or a party or any type of event, you would always get so worried and nervous before, and we never could pinpoint why. It was just, Megan's more of a sensitive child, she needs extra attention, we don't really know. As I got older, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, it started just manifesting my anxiety in different ways, where in elementary school, before a school field trip, before a sleepover, before any type of thing that you do in elementary school, I would get so anxious and worried and nervous, and thankfully I had two of the greatest people in the world as parents, and they really paid attention and focused and noticed that, you know what, Megan, she has anxiety and we're aware of it and we know the signs and the symptoms, and we want to be good parents and know that she has this and make her life as easy as possible and get her the help that she needs, because things like anxiety, I feel oftentimes parents can sometimes belittle it if they're not educated themselves, and they can think, oh, well, you're just making this up for attention, or you don't really have it, it's a phase, you'll get over it, it's not real, it's just you're making it up, you're XYZ. But my parents actually knew it's hereditary, it runs in our family, and Megan clearly has it. 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade was when it was super just dormant, that's a word I use. I didn't really have it, I didn't experience it, and then my freshman year of high school in 2010, 2 weeks into school, I remember starting to feel the fast heart rate, the sweaty palms, the nervousness, the room was kind of spinning, the tunnel vision, the overwhelming sense of I feel like I'm dying and I can't pinpoint why or what I did wrong, or did I eat something, or am I tired, am I thirsty, but just that overwhelming sense of I'm gonna pass out, this is the end. And I was sitting in my freshman English class. I remember my teacher, we were going over Greek mythology and we were doing little plays, skits with other classmates about the Greek gods and goddesses. I vividly remember during that time, I was just sitting in my desk, just legs were crossed, I'm just paying attention, and all of a sudden I felt this wave of just a pit in my stomach. I kind of clutched my desk, I was like, whoa, I felt like like a shark bit me, and you're just in that shock. Something really just, whoa, what was that? That felt weird. It was a surge of energy. It was so powerful. I clutched my desk and the room literally started to spin in circles. It was just, my vision was going in and out, and I'm like, oh my God, my God, my God, this is so uncomfortable. This is so uncomfortable. I feel like I'm dying. And I remember just raising my hand, and my hands were so shaky because it's so much adrenaline when you have a panic attack that after you just feel that shaky, like you just ran 40 miles and you're hungry feeling. And I asked my teacher, can I go to the bathroom please? And I bolted out, I ran to the bathroom stall, and I just bawled my eyes out because it was so scary, and it was the most real, genuine, I had never felt that before. And I felt like I was having a heart attack or a stroke or a brain, like it's so scary when you are not educated and you do not know what it is, because you feel like you have to go to the hospital, because anxiety can make you feel 400 different symptoms. I mean, your big toe can go numb, your body can get all tingly, and you can get a migraine, and your arm can feel pins and needles feeling, and your eye can start twitching, and you can start feeling extra thirsty and hungry and tired, but it's just anxiety. One night after dinner, I just had this idea. It was just my parents, and I had one sibling, so she kind of went off to her room, and it was just me and my parents sitting there, and I was just fidgeting my thumbs like this, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I have to tell someone. I feel like I'm just boiling up and I need to vent to someone how I'm feeling, because it's scary and I don't want to keep this to myself, and I feel uneducated and alone. And is there something wrong with me, or is this, it was so just scary. It was a really, really scary time. And I remember kind of being like, hey, Mom, Dad, can I tell you something? And they just turned around because they were watching TV. They're like, of course. And then it got more serious, and I, for 45 minutes, just, it all came out. I was like, I can't do this. A lot of tears. I don't know how I'm feeling. I feel like I'm dying every day in class, and I think certain things, and then I don't even know what's going on in my body. I feel like I need to get out of the classroom and get fresh air and calm myself down, and I feel I'm getting sweaty and hot, and I'm just not in the best state of mind, and I don't know what's causing it. The fast heart rate and the sweaty palms, and feeling like there's an elephant sitting on my chest and I can't breathe. What's happening? And they looked at each other, they looked at me, and they said, Megan, we love you so much. We know exactly what you're feeling. Your dad can take it over from here. And then, so me and my dad went on a little walk. There was a trail right where we lived, and it was just so sweet. And I already had felt so close to my parents and so open and comfortable and confident. And just walking with my dad, he said, you know, Megan, this is exactly how I felt when I was your age. It's called anticipatory anxiety, and it runs in my family. So I'm sorry that you are experiencing this, because it's awful and it's not fun and it's challenging, and you may have ups and downs with it and have to, I don't like the word deal, but cope or live with it your whole life. I don't know, but right now, thank you for telling us. That was brave of you, and we want to put you in therapy, because he said that's something that my parents didn't do for me. So now that I'm your dad, I want to be the proactive, present parent that I wish that I had, and I want to do that for my daughter. And just thinking about it makes me watery-eyed, because it was such a sweet moment. I was like, I do have the best dad in the world. So next week, literally 5 days later, I had my first session with a hypnotherapist, and that changed my whole entire life. That first session was so raw and so vulnerable and open and just so deep. And it's like a hypnotist. They put you in a trance, and they do a guided visual meditation. In my book, You Can Choose Your Thoughts, my second book, I go back to that moment, and I remember it like it was yesterday. She had this guided meditation where you imagine yourself walking down a staircase, counting backwards from 10, so 10, 9, 8, and with everything you're getting lighter. And you don't feel so, just that, you don't feel so heavy and brought down. And now we get to 1, and you open the door, and who do you see? And this is a moment too where I realized how powerful our minds are, because there's the conscious mind, day-to-day lives, what we're all doing, running errands, running a company, going to school, going to family dinners, parties, traveling. And then there's the subconscious, which is just the root of why we feel the way we do, and things that we hold on to, past traumas and childhood events, and things that shape stories and beliefs and thought patterns and the way we react to certain situations. And it was just so profound, because I remember opening that door and I saw me as a 3-year-old when my anxiety really started. And I was so crazy, because it was little Megan. And I remember I was wearing the jelly shoes that I wore in the 90s and a little dress. I was so relaxed too that I started just sobbing, heaps, and just sobbing, and I couldn't even breathe, and my chest was heaving. It was just all this, so good for you, but it was all these emotions coming up that I had shut down and pushed down of, you know, I did have a great and positive and healthy, happy childhood, but it's still hard when you're 3 years old to be constantly like overstimulated and overworried and oversensitive. And even I would cling to my mom like a leech. Even the Mommy and Me dance classes and going to preschool, I was like, you can't leave. And I would just cling, and I didn't want to let her go. And I would get so worried, and she knew that, because I would cry all the time. I was so freaked out and so paranoid and so, oh my gosh, even before I could think or speak words. And it made me so sad when I was almost 15 years old to be in that hypnotherapist trance and to be on that couch and to see my younger self at 3 and just see how much pain is in her eyes and she doesn't even know what's causing it, or old enough to have the mind-body connection of, you know, okay, so my thoughts are creating this chemical emotional response. I can't think 1,000 thoughts in 1 minute because that's gonna make me have a fast heart rate and feel super hyperactive and like I have to burn off a lot of energy. And that was extremely powerful. And that first hypnotherapy session led me down a road for the rest of high school of seeing a cognitive behavioral therapist and an EFT specialist. They gave me so many books and taught me so many tools about having morning and nighttime routines and how to do EFT tapping, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. The best stuff ever of what I got to the root of what was triggering my anxiety. And for me, it was a fear of change. It was the transition from 8th grade to freshman year of high school. It triggered this fear of what if my friend group changes and what if I can't control that, and what if people look at me differently in this whole new high school with 500 new students? What if, that merry-go-round of the what ifs. And since then, it's been a very profound full circle journey to be able to go and speak at middle schools and high schools and to have found my passion and to be so full circle. It's been so magical and so wonderful, and each time that I speak at a middle school or a high school, I truly imagine, and I take it with so much pride and honor and gratitude that I have the honor of speaking my story and sharing my advice to these incredible teenagers who, in my eyes, they have unlimited potential, and they're just these incredible human beings that can do anything with their life, and they have so many resources around them. And I always imagine before I speak, what would 15-year-old Megan or 16-year-old Megan, 17-year-old Megan, what would she crave to hear in an assembly or a workshop? Like, what would she need to know? And it was how to love myself, how to stop comparing myself to other girls, how to find my passions, how to love my body, how to learn how to ground myself and feel centered in my own energy field and not overwhelmed with thinking about 500 other things, and to know that everyone has their own talent in life. For me, it wasn't academics, but I remember struggling with that so much and feeling that if I didn't do well academically, then I wasn't smart, and that I wouldn't be able to accomplish a lot if I didn't go to a typical college and then get into a typical 9-to-5 job. And now I've totally turned my pain into my purpose and created this passion that I'm so obsessed with, and I just feel very lucky. My why moving forward is I don't want any teenager to ever feel how I felt. That continues to be the driving force behind why I do what I do. And I feel that things happen for a reason, and that's something that I've come to learn in my own time. When I go hiking or have time to reflect on my life, it makes me feel good to think and to know that there is a bigger force to life and things do happen for a reason. And I just don't want any person, when they're a teenager, they're so young and they're so full of life and potential, and they have their whole lives ahead of them. I do not want someone to get to age 85, 90 years old and they look back at their life and they think, wow, I just wasted my whole life not doing what I wanted to do because I was so afraid of what other people would think, what I was raised to believe and what I was conditioned to believe and what I can accomplish in my lifetime, or I let the negative thoughts win. And I let them, oh, you won't look good in that dress, that inner self-talk, which we all have. I want them to turn that positive, and I want to teach them the exact steps on how I did that and how to just follow their passions. I think that's the point of life, and there's nothing better than that priceless feeling when you know you are on the right path and you feel just that amazing, you get giddy and you're like, yes, I am doing what I love, and you know it and you feel it and you wake up excited. And for me, I love helping people, and I feel strongly that I was put on this earth to raise awareness and to be a positive voice for specifically teenagers, and to just be a ray of hope that comes into schools when all the teenagers that I speak to, I don't know what they're going through behind closed doors. I don't know what their family life is like. I don't know what their financial situation is. I don't know if they love themselves or what they do outside of school. So for me, when I have that hour with them, I take it so seriously and so to heart, because I know how much a positive role model and someone inspiring you for an hour, that can really change someone's life. And if I can inspire one teenager to take a chance and to follow their heart and to do what makes them happy, and to just stop caring what other people think or what they think about themselves, and to just trust the process and to realize that following your passions, it's on a soul level. It's not about what you look like or how much money you have or the likes and the it's on a soul level when you are doing what you love. And I want to teach teenagers that it's so much easier than you think. It's not scary. I mean, it can be scary, but it's fun to follow your passions, and life is a journey, and same with following your passions. So I struggled so much when I was a child and a teenager, and now that I'm in a really good place in my life where I currently don't have anxiety, I don't have panic attacks, I don't have body image issues anymore. I feel like I've gained so many tips and tools and wisdom that it's kind of a right and a responsibility to help the others on the other side, the teenagers who don't know because there's no education, and maybe their parents don't talk about it, or there's just no awareness in their friend group about what it means to fully love yourself, and how do I do that?